What have you seen from the new guys on the trail in terms of fitting in with the way that you guys recruit, and specifically Ja'Juan Seider and the job that he's been able to do in Florida?
Yeah, Ja'Juan's been a great hire. You know, what I love about Ja'Juan is Ja'Juan's the type of guys that I want to surround myself with in terms of all that really Ja'Juan is interested in is his family and football, and he lives it. You know, it's talking football with Coach Ronnie, or his phone is ringing and it's a high school coach or it's a player or it's a contact. It's all the time. We're on vacation, and it's constant, back and forth, back and forth. We're back and forth to each other about a play we saw, a scheme, you know, that we're interested in, or a prospect that's out there. You know, so you know, it's really important to him. I know he's really happy, you know, being at Penn State and with the climate and the culture that we have. You know, obviously his son's joining the program, which is a good sign as well. But he's just done a really good job. You know, Tyler Bowen, it's obviously a little bit different for him because this is what he knows. You know, our model. You know, Tyler played for me at Maryland, and then was a GA for me when I was the offensive coordinator. And then obviously, you know, was a GA, you know, was a student assistant for us when I was the offensive coordinator, and then was a GA for us here. And then obviously, you know, went to Fordham and then came back after going to the University of Maryland as the offensive line coach. So he kind of gets how we do things. So that transition was really easy for him. And then David coming from Army, obviously you could imagine this is very different, you know, than Army. So been a little bit of an adjustment there, but overall, I think we got a really strong foundation of kind of how we do things. We got a lot of moving parts, but we got a lot of, you know, personalities and people that have been with us for a large number of years. So we're typically able to handle some of those things. Obviously, I don't want turnover. I want to try to keep as much consistency here as we possibly can. But I think those guys did a really good job, and you know, Andy Frank and the whole recruiting department helps with that as well. You know, so when these guys show up and we try to figure out what their recruiting area is going to be, because that's the other thing. It's not like when you lose a coach that next coach you come in and you just plug and play. It doesn't work like that, because you want to make sure you're taking advantage of everybody's strengths. And you know, if you hire Ja'Juan Seider and he is replacing a coach, well, you're not just going to put him in that same recruiting area. You want to play to Ja'Juan's strengths as much as you possibly can. So, you know, it excuse me, it forces us in some ways to adjust the entire staff. So the entire staff is impacted in recruiting when you lose one guy. And that's why it's so impactful. But I also think that's also why we do it the way we do it, where I've been on staffs where one coach recruits one area and one position, and that coach is really the only coach on the staff that has a relationship with that young man and their family. So then he leaves, you're in trouble. You know, you're in trouble. And for us, you know, I want it to feel like for each recruit and each family that we're dealing with is they're not really completely sure who their recruiter is, because everybody's involved. The head coach is involved, the coordinator's involved, the area recruiter's involved, the position coach is involved. So now when you do have turnover, we do it because I think that's the best way to be thorough and detailed, like we do with everything. But I also think there's an aspect that allows you to overcome some turnover too.
Hey, James, you guys have been very successful at recruiting the running back position